Hey there, how's it going? I wanted to show the app for the Tesla and talk about that a little bit. It's a pretty neat little program. It lets you go in there and be able to turn on the heat and see where the car is located and good stuff like that. So here it is on my Android phone. This is a Galaxy S4. And if I go into the app here, it comes up with this waiting screen. And it waits, and it spins, and it waits, and it spins. And sometimes it'll do this practically indefinitely. I've left it for a couple of minutes. Sometimes it'll load, sometimes it won't. I'm on a Wi-Fi connection here, you can see up here, and the car is awake. I was just there a minute ago. My screen is falling asleep on the Android here. So it'll continue to do that, and I have my iPad here as well to be able to show the Apple version or the iOS version of the same program, and it comes up and loads up immediately. So whether you have it on an iPhone or an iPad, it just loads up instantly. But the Android version kind of sucks. It does this. I have two different Android devices, and they both do this. Again, this is the Galaxy S4, but it just spins and spins and spins. So the solution to this, in order to actually get the app to load on Android, is you got to close out of it. You hold down your home button, and you close the Tesla app, and then go back into it, and it'll show this red splash screen to let you know it's starting up anew. And then lo and behold, it'll load. And you can tell by that little hesitation in the circle there that it actually is going to load this time. Usually, at least. Now it's not even going to load when I do my trick. There it is. It took it a little while. So it loads up eventually. So that's kind of a disappointment. And so almost every time I go in to use the app on my phone, I have to close out of it and go back into it so it'll actually load. And you can see just how much faster it is on the Apple device. So it's a nice program if you haven't seen it before. It shows the picture of your car. This is a rendering of my car with the white, with the right rims, with the sunroof. Shows you your rated mileage on it. It shows you the current address where the car is located, whether or not it's locked. This is the home screen on it. There's also a control screen where you can vent the roof, lock the doors, unlock the doors, honk the horn, flash the lights, or even start it. And start it is not just to turn on the heat. Start it is actually to be able to start it and drive away. So if you lose your key or forget your key or something, you can do that. Charging, if you were currently charging it, you could stop it or start it. Something that's relatively new in the Android version is it allows you to go in here and set how much charge, how much charge you want it to get. They didn't have that until relatively recently. Climate control, this is where you would go in to be able to turn on the heat. And then over here is the location, and it'll show you where the car is currently parked. So that's all great. The climate control gives me trouble. One thing that's, now I know this is silly. Again, this is the iOS version over here. Has all the same options. One thing that's kind of nice and smooth in the iOS version, you can actually flip screens by dragging the whole screen. You can't do that on the Android version. The other thing is, and this is minor, I know. If you look at the rims on the rendering of the interior car, this is the climate screen. The iOS version shows the correct rims. Or the correct wheels, I should say, and the climate control screen on the Android does not. It shows the same one no matter what you have. And I know that's dumb, right? Who cares? Okay. The other thing is the iOS version has notifications, so you can actually go in here and it can send you a message, an alert on your iOS device if the car alarm goes off, or if charging was started or interrupted or complete, or if there's a new software update available for it. Unfortunately, the Android version doesn't have any notification whatsoever. I really like the car alarm idea. I think that's cool. So it'll actually beep your Apple device if the car alarm goes off. And I really like being able to know about software updates. All of these I mean, that just makes good sense. Yeah, so that's that. The other thing that drives me a little bit crazy is, we'll see here. Maybe my Apple one's going to take a little longer now. It usually doesn't. Oh, there it goes. I say it usually doesn't. It loads pretty quickly. And you notice, usually, since I got the new 6.1 update for the car, usually it shows the percentage now, because that's what I have my dashboard set for, is to show the battery percent rather than rated range. Every once in a while it flips back on the Apple. On the Android, it always shows the rated range. It doesn't show the percent. I suspect that'll come with a forthcoming update for the Android version, but I don't know. The other thing that's kind of a hassle is on the Android version. We'll see if it does it now. If I go in here and say that I want to turn on the climate control, I go to the climate screen and hit turn on up here, and nothing happens. It doesn't show my interior temperature or the ventilation being on or anything. And if I flip out of that screen and back into that screen, so now it shows the interior temperature, but the turn on button is back to turn on. A moment ago it was turn off. So I hit turn on, it got the interior temperature, but it didn't turn anything on. So now I have to hit turn on. And now this time the ventilation is turned on in there and it's actually stuck. So it's the Android version really sucks. So to summarize, for the Android version I gotta close the app. If I want to turn on my heat, for example, I gotta close the app, I gotta go in fresh, I gotta wait for it to connect, then I have to go to the climate control screen and I have to hit turn on. It's already on in this case, so I'll turn it off. But I would have to turn on, and then I have to flip to another screen and go back, and then I'd have to hit turn on again. And then it turns on the heat. It's really just dumb and stupid, and I've written myself a little web app that does that for me now to make it a little easier. If you have an Apple device, you don't have to worry about any of that. It all works smoothly. The iOS version is really well done. I wonder if it's even the same developer who's doing both versions. You got this sweet swipe to go into the right screen. I can go up here and click turn on, and it has a little wait symbol. You see that? It actually tells me it's trying to do something. The Android version doesn't do that. And then it'll actually talk to the car and turn it on. It's still taking a little longer than what I would like it to, and honestly the Apple version is usually much faster than this. I'm not sure why it's running so slow at the moment. Sometimes the car is fast, sometimes it's slow, and I have full service, full Wi-Fi in here and full service outside, so I'm not sure why that would be the case. But in any case, you can see I only had to press it once on the Apple version, and it comes up with the interior temperature and it turns on the ventilation in there, and you can adjust it here. So I'm hoping that they continue to improve the Android version because I use an Android phone daily. It's just a hassle to use it here in the meantime. The Apple version is really sweet. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed this.